Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today is the 19th lecture of numerical analysis, and I will be talking about the midpoint method for integration. This technique is also a special case of the Runge-Kutta method of order 2. This technique is using for the integration of a function. The procedure is the same. If we have a differential equation of this type, dy by dx is equal to f of xy, the value of x lies between a and b, and y at the initial point is given by alpha. Y is the function of x, and you know that the value of y which satisfies this differential equation, that is called the solution of this differential equation. As I told you before, if you are having first order differential equation, so far as it's a particular solution, one condition is required. We assume that y at xi is equal to wi, and this is the solution of this differential equation. Then midpoint formula is given by this expression. W naught, this is the initial solution which is given to you at the initial point, and this is the midpoint method. Now look at this technique. If you remember Euler method, in Euler method, we were saying that if we are having 2 points, xi and xi plus 1, and we are computing solution at xi plus 1, we need the solution of the differential equation at xi. And we need value of the function at xi. This was Euler method. And then we discussed the modified Euler method. In case of modified Euler method, solution at the previous point plus the distance between the 2 points and value of the function at the previous point, value of the function at this point. So when you are saying value of the function at this point, so its x component is this one, and y component means that the solution at this point, but remember we are looking for the solution at this point. So we use the Euler method for that solution, and that was modified Euler method. You saw examples on these two techniques also. Now if you look at the midpoint method, you can see that they are using the midpoint. This is the midpoint, so you can see that this was xi. You are looking for the solution at xi plus 1, so this technique is using this point. So you can see that the distance between xi and xi plus 1 is h, so its midpoint will be this one, and the x component of this point will be xi plus h divided by 2. Since this is the midpoint, so we divide this segment into 2 parts. This distance is h divided by 2. So what the midpoint method is doing, midpoint method is using solution at xi and value of the function at the midpoint. Value of the function at the midpoint. So x component of this point is given by xi plus h divided by 2, which you can see over here. Now, if you remember, I told you in the previous lectures that you need solution at this point also. Means that you need solution at this point, which is not known. So let's find out solution at this point using the Euler method. Euler method is saying that forget about this point if we are having these 2 points. So solution at this point will be solution at this point plus a distance between these 2 points, which is h divided by 2. So you can see that solution at xi the distance between the 2 points, which is h divided by 2, and value of the function at xi. The value of the function at xi is given by. So the Euler method has been used, but remember here is h by 2. Why h by 2? Because the distance between these 2 points is h divided by 2. Since in this technique, the value of the function at midpoint has been computed, and that's the reason it has been named as the midpoint method. So you can see you need the solution. Of course, this when you are starting, this is the solution at the initial point, which is given to you in the condition, and value of the function at this point. So you can see this is the solution at xi. This is the value of the function at xi. This is the point at xi, and this is the solution at xi. So all the values are known. We can find out value of the function. Let us consider an example. Use midpoint method to approximate the solution of the initial value problem given by. I'm taking the same example, so I'm solving this example with different techniques so that you can see that which technique give you better accuracy, and that will become clear to you after the solving the problem. Let's identify what is your function. So you can see that this is your function. Step size is h is equal to 0.5. So x0 is 1, x1 is 1.5, and x2 is 0. So you can see that the distance between the two consecutive points is 0.5, and that is given to you. This is the value of W1. I reproduce the midpoint formula over here. I'm splitting the formula in different parts. I call this portion f of xi wi is equal to ai. Then wi plus h divided by 2 f of xi wi, this portion, I denoted this portion by bi. bi is equal to wi plus h divided by 2, and f of xi wi, f of xwi is ai. So this is the value of bi, and bi is the y component of this function. I represented this xi plus h divided by 2 by ci. Then value of the function, complete value of the function is, its x component is given by ci, which I have written over here. Its y component, I have denoted that by bi. So I can see that this is the complete function which I represented by fi. So what will happen to the complete formula? This will be wi plus 1 is equal to wi plus h into this I represented by fi. So you can see that that is the value. And if you look at your problem, the value of I is starting from 0 and it reaches up to 1. When I is equal to 0, W1 is the solution at x1. When I is equal to 1, you are getting W2, and W2 is the solution at x is equal to 2. So that's the reason I'm writing it starting from 0 up to 1. It depends upon your step size. This step size tells you how many points do you have. So you can identify the value of I starting from 0 and reaches up to 1. Let's look for the value when I is equal to 0. So I will be getting W1. W1 will be the solution at x is equal to 1.5. So let us substitute I is equal to 0 in these expression. This is totally up to you. If you are substituting all the values in this function, you can simplify and you can deal with the equation, but that equation becomes lengthy and normally the probability of mistake increases. So that's the reason I splitted this into different small pieces. When I is equal to 0, so let us go to A naught. A naught will be equal to f of x naught W naught. Now x naught is 1 and w naught is 1. W naught is 1 and x naught is 1. So when you substitute the value over here, the 1 by 1 minus 1 by 1, so you are getting 0 here. So the value of a naught is equal to 0. Now let's come to this one. I is equal to b naught is equal to w naught plus h divided by 2 into a naught. The value of a naught is 0. So this portion will become 0 and w naught is equal to 1. So you can see that the value of b naught is 1. Now let's come to this one. C naught is equal to x naught plus h divided by 2. C naught is 1 and h is 0.5. So 0.5 divided by 2 is 0.25. So C naught is 1.25. Let's come to this one. The value of C naught is known, which is 1.25. The value of B naught is known, which is 1. So you can see that when you substitute a value in the function, so this will become 1 divided by 1.25 minus 1 divided by 1.25 whole square. And if you simplify this one, you are getting f naught is equal to 0.16. Now a naught is known, b naught is known, c naught is known, f naught is known. Let's substitute the values here. When I is equal to 0, I am getting W1 is equal to W naught plus H multiplied by F naught. F naught is 0.16. H is equal to 0.5. W naught is equal to 1. And when you substitute the values, this gives you the value of W1, which is 1.08. So I can say that 1.08 is the solution of your differential equation at x is equal to 1.5. Now let's find out solution at x is equal to 2. Let us substitute I is equal to 1. When I is equal to 1, so I am getting W2 and W2 is the solution at x is equal to 2. So let's find out the values of all these terms when I is equal to 1. When I is equal to 1, you are getting f of x1 W1. W1 you have computed. X1 is there, which is 1.5. So this is 1.08 divided by 1.5 minus 1.08 divided by 1.5 whole square. And if you simplify that, you are getting the value of A1. The value of A1 is known. W1 is known, which is 1.08. So 1.08 plus H is 0.5 divided by 2 multiplied by A1 is 0.2016. And when you simplify that, you are getting the value of B1 is given by 1.1304. C1 is equal to x1 plus h divided by 2. x1 is 1.5. So 1.5 plus 0.25, and that gives you 1.75. F2 is equal to f of 1.75 and B1 is 1.1304. When you substitute the value in the function, this is your function. Replace x by 1.75 and y by 1.1304. So when you substitute the value here, this will give you 1.1304 divided by 1.75 minus 1.1304 divided by 1.75 whole square. And when you simplify that one, you are getting the value of F1. Now F1 is known, H is known, W1 is known. So let us substitute the values here. So W2 is equal to, W1 is 1.08 plus 0.5 multiplied by this number. And when you simplify that one, this gives you the value 1.1943503,412. And this is the solution of your differential equation at x is equal to 2. And with this, we completed the solution of the problem. Accordingly, when h is equal to 0.5 If you are changing the value of h, so accordingly you will have more terms which will appear. This was the formula, and this is the table I just represented. This is the exact solution. This is the exact solution, that is the approximated solution. The difference between these values gives you the corresponding absolute error. So this corresponds to the absolute error. This is the error when you are computing solution A to 1.5, and this is the error when you are computing solution A2. Again, you can see here, when you are increasing the value of x, your error is increasing, which I told you in the previous lectures also. Let us consider another example. I'm taking the same example with changing the step size. This time I am saying that the step size is 0.1. So you can see that from 1 to 2, how many points will be there. If you count them, so there will be 11 points. And the points will be 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, and 2. So instead of 2 or 3, you're having more terms. These are the points which I told you right now. This is your function coming from here. This is the exact solution of the problem. Remember, my interest is not the analytical solution of the problem. I'm looking at the approximated solution in this case. This is the formula. Again, when you substitute the value of wi, the value of the function in this expression, and everything will be in terms of I. You know that xi is always equal to x naught plus I minus 1 into h. So you can substitute the values and can get a single expression, and then you can play with I is equal to. In this case, this will be starting from 1 and from 0 and will be reaching up to 10. So this will be reaching up to 10, 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 10. I just reproduced the formula in the previous example. You can see W naught, this is the point you are getting from here. These were the assumptions which we used in the example number 1. So I'm using the same criteria, the same assumption. This portion I represented by AI, this portion I represented by BI, this portion I represented by CI, and this whole function I represented by FI. Then Wi plus 1 is given by Wi plus h into f of I, as I told you in the previous example. I'm not computing like the previous example step by step. I'm telling you the complete, this was the assumption which we made. In other words, we transform this formula to this form. Why? The reason is that we want to do the calculation in pieces, small pieces, so that the possibility of the error decreases. I'm telling you this table, and this gives you the solution at different points. When I is equal to 0, you compute A naught, B naught, C naught, F naught, and then W1, and W1 will be this value. Then you put I is equal to 1, compute A1, B1, C1, F1, and you will get W2, and W2 is given by this one. W2, similarly, I is equal to 2. This will be A2, B2, C2, F2, and you will be getting W3, and W3 will be the solution at 1.3, and this process will continue. This process will continue until I reach I is equal to 10. When I is equal to 10, I have to find out A10, B10, C10, F10, and this will give me W11. And W11 is the solution of the differential equation at the last point, which is 2. Since exact solution is known, so replace x by 1. So that was the initial condition given to you. Replace x by 1.1 in the exact solution. This will be the exact solution at x is equal to 1.1 and so on. And when you compute the difference between these two, that will give you the corresponding absolute error, which is given in terms of this thing. So you can see that in this case, the error is decreasing. The error is decreasing. So it depends upon the technique, what kind of technique you have, and it depends upon the step size. You saw in the previous example, the error was something into 10 raised to the power minus 2. And now you can see that when we increase the number of points, the error decreases accordingly, which is in the form of 10 raised to the power minus 4. I'm taking the same example in order to show you that when you are changing the technique, what happens to your order, your error, and how your accuracy is increasing. Let's come to another technique, which is Heun's method. Remember Heun's method, these two methods. Heun's method is also a Runge-Kutta method of order 2. The same differential equation of first order differential equation. This is the initial condition. This is the problem, the general problem. And the data is equally spaced. The points are at equidistance from each other, which is as usual. Then the Heun's method is given by W naught is equal to alpha n. Remember, this is slightly complicated one because there are so many terms. Function is using inside the function, so you have to be careful. If you want to substitute the values totally in one expression and want to get a single expression, yes, that's working. But remember, the chances of doing the mistake is increasing. Look at this function. You can see xi has been used, which is this point, initial point. Wi plus 1, you are computing solution 8xi plus 1, that is the target. But if you look at this portion, you can see xi plus h divided by 3. And you can see 2xi plus 2h divided by 3. It means that this subinterval has been divided into 1, 2, 3 parts. The complete length is given by h. This is 1/3 of h. So h divided by 3, length of this segment is h divided by 3. And this is a 2/3. So the distance from the initial point to this point is given by 2h divided by 3. The coordinates of this point, the x component of this point is xi. So this will be xi plus h divided by 3, and this will be xi plus 2h divided by 3 and xi. Now if you look at the Heun's method, this Heun's method is using all these 3 points which are coming before xi plus 1. How? You can see this is f of xi wi. I told you in every method we are using solution at the previous point. So remember, this is the solution at the previous point, which is at this point. Plus, it's going to change value of the function. So you can see function at xi, which is f of xi wi plus 3 multiplied by value of the function at xi plus 2h divided by 3, means that value of the function at this point. Solution at this point, value of the function at this point, and value of the function at this point. Now we don't know solution at this point. We don't know solution at this point because when I'm using x component and a function, I need its y component also. So you can see here now, this is the solution 8xi plus 2h divided by 3. But remember, midpoint formula has been used here. Forget about this point. If I have these 3 points and you are looking for the solution at this point, so you can see x component of this point is xi plus 2h divided by 3. I'm looking for solution of the equation at this point. In other words, solution of the equation, differential equation at this point. So normally what we are saying in case of Euler method, we are saying that solution at this point plus distance between these 2 points and value of the function at this point. But remember, Huygens is not using solution at this point, but using solution at the central point. So what we are doing, solution at this point, x component of this point, which is xi plus h divided by 3, plus y component is again use the midpoint method. Solution at this point, again solution at this point is wi. The distance between these 2 points is given by 2h divided by 3, multiply by value of the function at this point. Multiply by value of the function at this point. So when you are computing value of the function at this point, you need its x component, and x component is given by xi plus h divided by 3, which you can see over here. And solution at this point, remember solution at this point is not known to me. So let's apply the Euler method. Euler method will be solution at this point, which you can see over there. The distance between these 2 points, which is h divided by 3, and value of the function at this point. So h divided by 3, value of the function at xi. This is a y component of the function. Yeah, in other words, this is the solution of the differential equation at this point. So you can see x component is there and solution. This solution has been obtained using the midpoint method, which you did in the last lecture. So listen to me very carefully. It needs your concentration. Midpoint formula has been used, and Euler formula has been used, and then you can see value of the function at this point and value of the function at this point. They have been taken in the ratio of 3:1. So when I say 3:1, so you have to multiply 3 with the value of the function at this point and 1 with the value of the function at this point. You can see 1 multiplied by value of the function at this point and 3 multiplied by value of the function at this point. I'm saying 3:1, so 3 plus 1 is 4, and when you can see that 4 is there. And if you link this with the, when you are computing components of a point which divide a line segment in ratio k, ratio 1. So you are multiplying k1 ratio k2 with the opposite points and then dividing by k1 plus k2 if you recall your interclasses. So that is there in analytical geometry. So this idea has been used. This method is called the Huygens method. I'm considering the same example with step size h is equal to 0.5. This is the Huygens method which I discussed right now. Identify the function. So this is your function as usual. Step size is 0.5. So you are having just 3 points, x0, x1 and x2. This is straightforward. It's clear to you. I'm 100% sure. W0 is the value of alpha. That's the initial condition which is given to you, which is given by 1. Let's split this into different pieces. this f of xi wi, I denoted that by fi. Wi plus h divided by 3 f of xi wi, I denoted that by hi. So wi plus this we represented by fi, so h divided by 3 fi. I deal with this portion only, represented this portion by fi and represented this portion by hi. Now xi use for xi plus h divided by 3, so this value. Now this component is known and this component is known, so you can find out the value of the function which I denoted by gi. Gi is equal to y divided by x minus y divided by x square. So in this case, this is your y and this we represented by hi. So hi divided by xi, which is the x component, minus hi divided by xi whole square. That's the definition of your function. And if I deal with this complete portion, so I am seeing wi plus 2h divided by 3, value of this complete function, I denoted that by gi. So that's the reason you can see I denoted that by yi. Yi is equal to wi plus 2h divided by 3 f of this thing, which we represented by gi. So now we know about this value. This complete value is known and that is denoted by yi. I denoted xi plus 2h divided by 3 by pi. Now let's find out value of this function, complete function. Now this is the x component which you denoted by pi and this is the y component which we denoted by yi, which we can see over here. So now let's compute value of the function. X component is known, which is pi, y component is known, which is yi. So I denoted this complete function by zi. Zi, this is equal to yi divided by pi, which you can see over here, minus yi divided by pi whole square. This is your function if you look at it. So your y is capital yi and your small x is pi. So this will be capital yi by pi minus capital yi divided by pi whole square, and that I represented by zi. So it means that this is known now. This complete portion is known. Let's find out wi. Wi plus 1 is equal to wi, which is there, h divided by 4. This f of xi wi represented there by f of fi plus 3 multiplied by this portion you represented by zi. So you can see it over here. Since there are just 3 points, so the value of n in this case is 2 and 2 minus 1 is 1. So the value of I is equal to 0, 1. Let us find out. When I is equal to 0, when I is equal to 0, and when you substitute the value here, you are getting W1, and W1 will be the solution 8x is equal to 1.5. Find out all these values for I is equal to 0. F naught is a W naught divided by X naught. W naught is 1, 1 divided by 1. Minus 1 divided by 1 is equal to 0. So you can see the value of F is equal to 0. The value of H, W naught, which is 1, H is 0.5 divided by 3, multiplied by F naught, you have computed 0. So this portion will become 0. And H naught is equal to W naught, which is 1. Come to this one. X naught is equal to X naught plus H divided by 3. X naught plus H divided by 3. H is 0.5. X naught is 1. 1 plus 0.5 divided by 3 gives you this value. Now look at this G naught. G naught is H1 divided by X naught. H1 is 1. divided by x naught is given by this value. So 1 divided by this value minus 1 divided by this value whole square, and when you simplify that one, you are getting the value of g naught. Now let's come to this one. W naught plus 2h divided by 3 g naught. W naught is 1. 2 multiplied by 0.5 divided by 3, and the value of g naught is given to you. And when you substitute the value of y naught turns to be this one. P naught. X naught plus 2h divided by 3. X naught is 1. 1 plus 2 multiplied by 0.5, which is equal to 1 divided by 3. That gives you the value of P naught. Y naught is known. Find out Z naught. Z naught will be equal to Y naught. Y naught is this value divided by P naught. P naught is this value minus Y naught, which is this value, divided by P naught. And when you simplify that one, you are getting the value of Z naught. Find out the value of W1. W1 is equal to W naught, which is 1 in your problem. H is 0.5. 0.5 divided by 4. Multiply by F naught. F naught is 0. Plus 3 multiplied by Z naught. This number divided by 3. That gives you the value of W naught. And this W naught is the solution of your given differential equation at x is equal to 1.5. Let's find out solution at x is equal to 2. So I is equal to 1. W1 we computed right now. This is the formula, and these were our assumptions. Now let us substitute I is equal to 1. Find out F1, H1, X1, G1, Y1, P1, Z1, and then it will give you W2. As previously, F1 is equal to W1, which is given to you, divided by X1. X1 is 1.5 minus W1 divided by 1.5 whole square, and when you simplify this one, you are getting the value of F1. Come to the value of H1. W1, this is the value of W1 plus H is 0.5 divided by 3, multiply by F1, and F1 you have computed here. That will give you the value of H1 from this expression. X1. X1 is equal to, capital X1 is equal to small x1 plus h divided by 3. Small x1 is 1.5 plus 0.5 divided by 3. That gives you the value of x1. Value of x1 is known, h1 is known. Substitute the value over here. G1 is equal to h1 by x1. h1 is this one, x1, capital X1 is this value minus this value divided by this value whole square. And when you simplify that one, you will be getting the value of G1, which is given by this value. Now come to Y1. Y1 is equal to W1. W1 is there. 2 multiplied by 0.5 divided by 3 into G1. Gives you the value of Y1, which is there. Now Y1 is known, which we need over here. Let's find out P1. P1 is equal to x1 plus 2h divided by 3. x1 is 1.5 plus 2 multiplied by 0.5, which is 1. 1 divided by 3 is given by this value. Now y1 is known, P1 is known. Substitute the value in this expression. y1 divided by P1. y1 divided by P1 minus y1 divided by P1 whole square. And that gives you the value of Z1. Now, F1 is known, Z1 is known, so let's find out the value in this expression. This will be W2 is equal to W1, which is that value. The 0.5 divided by 4, the value of step size is known, H is known. F1 you have computed, it is there. Plus 3 multiplied by Z1 you have computed here. And when you substitute the value here, you are getting, in this expression, you are getting the value of W2. And W2 is the solution of the problem at x is equal to 2. So we completed the solution of the problem when the step size is 0.5. Again, this is the corresponding exact solution. Exact solution of this problem is known. I showed in the previous example. And this is the value of W1, which you can see over there. And this is the value of W2, which is the solution at x is equal to 2, and that you can see over there. The difference between this number and that number gives you the absolute error. The difference between this number and that number gives you the absolute error. Now you can see as compared to the midpoint formula, their error was of order 10 raised to the power minus 2. And now you can see this is 10 raised to the power minus 3. It means that in this case, although the step size is the same, which is 0.5, but the accuracy in this case is better than that of the midpoint method and modified method. Let us consider another example. Hume's method to the problem given by this. This is the problem. But this time you can see that we are having the step size which is given by 0.1. Exactly the same as I did in case of the midpoint method. Now I am solving the same problem with the same step size, and then you will do the comparison which method give you better accuracy. This is the exact solution which you already have in the previous examples also. Identify. You can see that this is the function, the same function is over here. Since the step size is 0.1, so these are the points between 1 and 2. The points are 1, 1.1, 1.2 up to 1.9 and 2. So again you can see that there are 11 points, and the value of n in this problem is 10. So you are going up to 10. 11 points you have, and you have to find out solution at all these 11 points. W0 is equal to 1. It's coming from your initial condition. At the initial point, the solution is 1. So I have W0 is equal to 1. This is the formula, Hume's formula, which we discussed before. These are the assumptions which we have. The solution is given in this step. For I is equal to 0, find out F0, H0, X1, G1, Y1, F0, H0, X0, G0, Y0, P0, Z0, and then find out the value of W1 as we did in the example number 3. You are getting the solution given by this expression. Similarly, when I is equal to 1, you have to find out F1, H1, capital X1, G1, Y1, P1, and Z1, and when you substitute the value over here, you are getting W2, and W2 is the solution at x is equal to 1.2. Similarly, you have to proceed until you reach to the last point. When I is equal to 10, F10, H10, X10, G10, Y10, P10, Z10 you have to find out, and when you substitute the values over here, you will see that you are getting W11, and W11 is the solution of your problem at x is equal to 2. These are the exact solution because exact solution is known. Remember, if exact solution is not known, then you can't find out the absolute error. Exact solution is must. Exact solution is must for your absolute error. These are the approximated solutions at different points. And when you find out the difference between exact and approximate, that gives you absolute error. This value minus this value gives you this absolute error. Similarly, this value minus this value gives you this absolute error. And finally, this value minus this value gives you absolute error, and that is given by this x value. 2.579, 10 raised to the power minus 5. Now look at the results which we got here. In this case, error is of order 10 raised to the power minus 5. In the midpoint method, you saw that was 10 raised to the power minus 4. So you can see that this Heaven's method, although there are more calculations in this method, but the accuracy is far better than the previous methods which you did. And this tells you the superiority of the Heaven's method, that the methods we did so far, Euler method, modified Euler method, midpoint method, and Heaven's method. You saw that Heaven's method gives you best accuracy among all these methods. And that's the reason always the researchers are looking for new techniques, how we can improve the method, how we can increase the accuracy of a particular problem. So remember, try to understand the concept of these methods and then do the calculation yourself. I'm not saying that in examination you have to find out so many values because it needs the time, but you will be given some particular values. You find out the solution at so many points, and then you have to do the calculation stepwise. I will be expecting from you that you are doing these calculations and you are deriving this value. You are deriving this solution. This is your choice. When you are substituting all the values in this expression, I have no objection. Substitute all the values and then I is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, and get the corresponding solution. I will have no objection if you are not dividing them into different pieces. But myself, I prefer to divide this into small pieces so that the probability of the error decreases. Because if question is lengthy and if you do the mistake, so rest of the results automatically they become wrong. So do the calculation for a few iterations so that it becomes clear to you that the calculation I am doing, the understanding which I have about the method, whether that is correct or not. So this is about the Heaven's method, and inshallah very shortly I will send you another lecture and that will wind up your course for examination. Remember, in examination I told you that complete course of numerical analysis. Some student wrote to me that you give us a short time. This was your job. I'm giving you the lecture for how many days, so what you are doing there. I'm expecting that when I upload the lecture, you are sitting there and you are listening to my lecture. But unfortunately, when I'm looking at the views, I'm sorry to say that you are sleeping at your homes and then you are saying that reduce the course. Course will not reduce. That's the course which you did before. And I'm sure that you're having the books. The books must be with you. If not, so why you are looking for the books at the very last night? So you will have examination. Fahim Akhtar Saab have sent you the timetable, and inshallah examination will be accordingly. But remember, in your examination there will be objective type questions also, there will be subjective type questions also, and the paper will be online, and see that how we can manage that. I'm expecting from you the honesty, how honest you are. I'm sure that you will be doing each and everything from your own with honesty, and that will give you your grade and that will give you your degree. Thank you very much.